All right, welcome back to the Find Your 20 Coaching Insights Show. I'm your host, Mark Sieverkrop, and if you're a six-figure business owner who's looking to unlock the hidden potential in your business, then you've come to the right place, because this is the show where I share the top insights that I've had from recent coaching sessions with my clients to help you throw out the 80% that's holding you back so that you can build a business that fits you, fits your strength, and supports your business and personal dreams and goals. But before we get started today, I want to share with you today's featured resource, which is the Hidden 20 Audio Mastermind. Look, this is where every single weekday I'm sharing tips and strategies and ideas and things that I'm doing in my business, things that I'm doing in my family's restaurant, things that I'm working on with my clients or I'm coaching my clients on. I'm sharing all of those every single weekday. As a matter of fact, I do that show so often that as I was getting ready to record this episode, when I started, I said, welcome back to the Hidden 20. And then I was like, oh no, I'm not doing the Hidden 20. I'm doing the Find Your 20 Coaching Insights Show. But you know what? I was thinking about it. And the reason that I want to share this with you is the featured resource today is because I want to share these things with you. Like, these are day to day the things that are on my mind. So I've been talking a lot recently on the Hidden 20 about things that I learned at the conference I was at recently. But I also share things like day of that I talked with a client about, or that I'm doing in my family's restaurant, or that I'm doing personally in my business. Sometimes it's mindset, sometimes it's strategy, sometimes it's copywriting, sometimes it's advertising, sometimes it's direct marketing. It just depends on the day. Every single one of these is typically 10 to 15 minutes long. So over the course of a week, what is that? 10 times 5. So you're looking at like an hour and a half of extra additional real-time content that I'm sharing with my Hidden 20 Audio Mastermind members. And yes, there's an investment to being in the mastermind, and that investment is $4.99 a month. But when you join, the first month is on me. So you can learn more about that at findyour20.com/hidden20. But I love sharing these insights with the members of the mastermind. I love sharing the things that are going on. I love sharing what I'm doing, what I'm trying, the things that I'm considering doing, why I'm creating emails the way I am, why I'm writing the emails, why I'm doing the copy, writing the copy that I'm doing, the things that I'm doing in the restaurant that are working, the things that aren't working. Those are the things that I'm sharing. It's real time. It's very down to earth. It's very just me talking to you. And I really enjoy it. And it's like 16 cents a day. 16 cents a day to hear what's going on, what I'm learning day to day. You know, it's one of the things that I learned in at the conference that I was at is the people that were running the conference. They said that when they invest in something, they say, how can I make this free? And their idea is, okay, if this is the investment, how many clients do I have does it have to generate for me? Or how many sales does it have to generate for me in order for it to be essentially free? And so when you look at the Hidden 20, if you find one thing in one single episode that generates you 50 or $100, it's free. Like, you've paid for the entire year. One episode, and I'm recording these every single weekday all year long. I miss one every once in a while, I'll be honest. But I mean, you're looking at literally probably 200 episodes a year of the Hidden 20, each of them 10 to 15 minutes long. So that's 200 times 10, that's 2,000 minutes, which is who knows however many hours of content. If you find one idea, just one, that increases an open rate and gets you a couple more sales, or helps you to do better in a sales conversation, or allows you to create a marketing campaign or write an ad, or serve a client at a level that allows them to renew, it's free. Like, the barrier of making this free is so low, it's kind of ridiculous, to be honest with you. It's like $60 for the entire year, $4.99 a month. One idea out of one episode completely changes everything. It's really about leverage, which is really what I help my clients do. So if you want to give a shot give it a shot. Try it out. The Hidden 20 Audio Mastermind. Go to findyour20.com/hidden20. Like I said, when you sign up, I'll take away all risk out of the first month. So go ahead and check that out. You'll learn all the details there on that page, and you can get started today. And of course, you can see all of my featured resources by going to findyour20.com/my best resources. And today there's 3 things I want to share with you, all 3 from coaching conversations that I had with clients. And the last one is from a coaching conversation, but it's also based on an ongoing workshop that I teach. And I think it'd be really valuable as well. So the first one is, I was having a conversation with one of my clients recently. And we were talking about her messaging and what she was talking about. And I basically just said, and Louise, if you're listening to this, I don't think you'll mind me mentioning your name, because as Louise and I were talking, I said, you need to be willing to rock the boat. And I said, you don't strike me as someone who would mind rocking the boat. And she said, no, absolutely not. And so I said, in order to attract people, we need to stand for something. We talked about how everybody that has created any sort of following, any sort of community, they stand for something. And I said, be willing to rock the boat. Louise is an attorney, and recognizes that there's a lot of less than exciting or less than ideal things in the culture around law. There's a lot of, win at all costs, and, be a workaholic, and, you end up neglecting your family and your health and your principles and morals at times, and all of these things, or that's at least where you can get drawn to. And Louise says, no, I'm not doing that. And, if you're an attorney listening to this, I'd encourage you to reach out to Louise and follow her, because she is taking a stand. And so we had this conversation last week, and I said, you got to take a stand. You got to be willing to rock the boat. You got to stand for something in your marketing, in your messaging, in your social media, in your emails, and that will attract those people that agree with you. And it'll repel the people that don't. And that's great. We want both of those to happen. We want to attract the people that want to be around us and think like we do. And we want to repel the people that don't think like we do. We don't want to try to attract people that don't think like us. We want to invite the people that value what we have to say. So I challenged her. I said, okay, I want you in the next 48 hours, I want you to write a post, write an email, write something that basically says, I'm taking a stand for this, this, and this. And if that resonates with you, we need to talk, essentially. She sent me an email a few hours later. I said, I wrote the post, I sent it out, and I had somebody reach out to me already, and we've booked a call for next week. And I'm like, yes, that's what we're looking for. Because when you stand for something, when you rock the boat, when you say, this is what I believe, and this is what I don't believe, people are attracted to that. People are attracted to it when they believe the same things. So in your business, what is the stand that you can take? What position can you take? What boat can you rock? What idea or commonly held belief in your industry, in your niche, can you throw rocks at? Can you argue with? Because it gets you attention. It gets you it attracts the people that you want to attract. I did this just recently inside my Facebook group, where I basically kind of laid it out and said, here's my manifesto. Here's what I said. Here's the type of clients that I work with, and here's why I want to work with them. Here's the types of people that are most successful. And I just said, they have this, 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 and this. And I said, if you don't have those, I love you. You're a fantastic person. You're not my ideal client. And that's okay. But you have to be willing to take that stand. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, I was talking with a client, and we were going over her year plan. And this is actually something I talked a little bit about in the Hidden 20. So the Hidden 20 members have heard this in greater detail and greater length, and they heard it before you, which again is why there's value in being a part of the Hidden 20 Audio Mastermind. But she outlined her entire year, and she said, what do you think? And I said, well, I think it's great. I think you did a great job. I think it's a great plan. I said, the one thing that I know though is, her and I have a similar personality profile on one of the profile tests that I use with my clients. And I said, what I know about your personality and mine is that we always plan things and we believe that they're going to go perfectly. And we've got it nailed down. This is going to take 30 minutes. This is going to take 25 minutes. And it's never going to have any deviation. Well, if we know anything about life, there's deviations. Things take longer. There's hiccups. There's things that go wrong. There's things you have to wait for. There's people you have to wait for. Nothing ever goes exactly as planned. So one of the things that I suggested to her, and I'm going to suggest to you, is anytime you have a promo plan, a promo or a launch or a concerted effort of any kind, I would encourage you to plan in a buffer day somewhere in that time frame. So with her, she's doing webinars. So I said, well, what if you added a buffer day, like the week before the webinar, after you've created and planned and put together everything you need for the webinar. So like in between delivering it and the preparation for it. I said, put in a buffer day. And the purpose of that buffer day is if something takes longer, you have some extra time and you can get it done. Like it's set aside specifically to complete anything that you need to complete. I said, but if you finished everything, then take that day off. Use it as a break. Use it as a way to recharge. And the example that I gave her was it's very similar to when people talk about paying tithing, either to their church or to any sort of charity. I've heard people say, and I believe that this is true, that one of the benefits of paying a tithe is that now you're living on. So if you tithe 10%, which is what I do, that's what my faith teaches me to do, and that's what I do, and my family does. In that instance, now I'm living on 90% of my income. And one of the best things that you can do in order to live within your means and to make sure that you have, you can build your wealth, is to live on less than you earn. That's one of the key things. And so one of the things it teaches you is that you can live on 90%. You don't need 100% of your income. You can live on 90% because you're donating 10% of it. And the same thing happens with buffer days. If you have this day set aside, now maybe you're getting your work done in 90% of the time instead of 100%. And what happens is when things go over schedule, when things take longer than they need to, when something breaks and it takes longer, or you have to wait for somebody to do something, when those types of things happen, now maybe you were planning on 90%. Now maybe you're using 93% of your time or 95% of your time, or even 96 or 97% of your time. But you still have that little bit of a buffer. Whereas if you've booked in all the way up to that webinar or all the way up to that promo with no space whatsoever, if anything goes wrong, now you're overbooked. Now you're working nights. Now you're working weekends. Now you're getting up super early. Now you're skipping your kids' activities or games or performances at school. That's what happens because you're booked all the way to 100%. So if you can build in this buffer day and use this consistently, it will help you when things go wrong or when things don't go as planned, because we all think that things are going to take less time and be more efficient than they ever are. We always do. We always assume that. And we're very rarely right. So plan in a buffer day. You could either do this on a monthly basis. You could either do this on a project basis or a launch basis, but plan in buffer days. As a matter of fact, one of the things that I've considered doing in the past, and I totally forgot about this though just now, is one of the things I wanted to do was basically plan like the last week of a month, make it a buffer week, essentially. Like whether that's 2 days, whether that's 4 days, whether that's 5 days, because a lot of times the last week of the month, I mean, if we're looking right now in January or in February, let's see, February, the last week of the month is Monday, Tuesday, and then it's March. So if I was to do that this month, I would say, okay, Monday, Tuesday are my buffer days. And I'm not going to work unless there's something I need to get done. And you could do that with a single day. You could do it with like the last week of the month, however long that ends up being, 1 day, 5 days, whatever it is. Or you could just do it based on the project or the promo or the launch or whatever you're doing. But plan in buffer days so that you're working on less time than you actually have. And it gives you that little bit of a buffer if something goes wrong that you need to get done. The key to that though is if you don't need it, and when I say need, like if you do this on a Friday, when I say need, I mean only things that need to be done before Monday. That's the only things you do that day. So if that's 2 things, you do them and then you're done. If it's a full day, you do that and then you're done. But either way, it's just the things you need to get done. It's not the, well, I could do this too, or well, it'd be nice to have this, or well, this would help me get ahead. No, it's training yourself to only to work within the confines and to take that buffer day. So that's my encouragement to you. Think about a way that you can use a buffer day. And I made the comment or the commitment to my Hidden 20 audio mastermind when I talked about this, that I was going to define a buffer day and figure out when that buffer day was. And as a matter of fact, I did not do that yet. And I am going to right now, I'm going to add a to-do thing, pick day for buffer day. All right, now it's in my to-do list so I can look on my calendar when I plan my day and get that done. Make sure that I have that in my calendar because it's really, really valuable. All right, the final thing is similar but different. And this same client had designed into her business, and I love this idea. She had designed CEO retreats into her business, I think every 3 months or every 4 months, where she was going to take 2 or 3 or 4 days, I think it was, and she was going to just leave her office, leave her business, leave the normal things that were going on, and she was going to focus on her business. And this is something I talk about a lot with my clients, is this idea of we need to spend time working on our business. And this isn't a new concept. Michael Gerber talks about it in the E-Myth. Lots of other people talk about it. But most of us don't ever do it. We don't take the time. We don't set aside the time to work on our businesses. So I love that this client was doing this. And as the thing that tied to for me was every month I coach what's called the CEO Power Hour. And it's for one of my clients where we essentially take an hour and we step out of our business and we focus on being the CEO of our business, doing CEO tasks. And CEO tasks are things that are working on the business, things that move the business forward strategically, long-term. It's not working in the business. It's not doing actual coaching calls. It's not delivering the actual products. At my in-laws restaurant, it's not flipping the burgers and taking the orders. It's the marketing. It's the long-term marketing plans. It's the long-term strategic plans. It's those types of things. And in that monthly call, we take the time to do that. We review the last month. We say, how did things go? What went well? What do we want to change, do differently next time? Then we look at the next month, say, what's our number one priority? How do we want to feel at the end of the month? What things are coming up that we need to know about? Are there business commitments that I have? Are there personal commitments that I have? Do my kids have birthdays? Is there any sports activities that I need to be aware of? And let's get them on the calendar so that we don't miss those, so we don't overschedule ourselves, so we don't get to the point where we're overworked and stressed and burned out. And so my encouragement to you is in addition to these buffer days, is to plan quarterly a CEO day or a CEO retreat where you work solely on your business. This could be planning your quarterly goals. It could be reviewing your yearly goals. It could be making long-term plans. It could be designing your marketing plan for the next quarter, whatever it is that's longer term, higher level thinking, kind of 30,000 foot view where we're looking over everything and deciding what we want to do. Plan that in. And just a shameless plug, this would be a great time to use the Find Your 20 methodology, to use that to really hone in and identify what are the key things that I need to be doing over the next 90 days. You can have a CEO day and do those things. And if you do that, it takes you out of the day-to-day and allows you to raise yourself up, look at the whole lay of the land, the 30,000 foot view, and really identify where you want to go. So my encouragement would be to do one of those CEO days. And a great way to go through that would be to utilize the Find Your 20 Mastery Program. If you haven't used or been through the Find Your 20 Mastery Program, send me an email, mark@findyour20.com, and let's talk about that, because that would be a great thing to use every single quarter during those CEO days. So in review for today, we talked about being willing to rock the boat, being willing to stand for something in our marketing, in our messaging with our clients. We talked about planning in buffer days so that if things take longer than expected, we're not overwhelmed, overworked, burnt out, we have time to do that. And then taking that time off, if you don't use it, to reward yourself for being efficient. And then we talked about having a CEO day or having a CEO retreat once a quarter where you look at the 30,000-foot view of your business so that you can really understand where things are at, plan your quarterly goals, check in with your yearly goals, and really make sure that you're on track to be where you want to be rather than just working down in your business every day. So with that, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. If you haven't yet, make sure you grab a copy of my book, Find Your 20, by going to findyour20.com/grab your copy, and I'll drop one in the mail for you ASAP. Just cover the shipping and handling. I'll cover the book, and it'll cost less for you than if you went to Amazon. Plus, I add in some cool things. It's a really cool design and some extra goodies that I put in there. So go to findyour20.com/grab your copy to get that. And as always, I would love for you to leave a rating and review for the podcast on your preferred podcast app. It really helps others to find the show and to get to utilize the tips that we talk about here. So until next time, get out there and chase your 20.